Hello. Today I wanted to have a chat with you about getting started with pastels. If you're brand new and a complete beginner, then it can be a little bit overwhelming as to what you actually need. There's so many brands out there, there's so many different colours and papers, and it can all get a bit sort of mind-boggling. So I'm just going to outline just a few things that you need to get yourself started. So the biggest thing is your paper. So that's where you want the bulk of your dollars to be spent, is on the paper. Now I really like the Clairefontaine pastel matte paper. It's a beautiful smooth feeling paper, but it's got an amazing tooth to it, so it holds a lot of layers of pastel. It can be erased, you can get it wet, so it's very forgiving. There are lots of different brands of paper out there. I've also tried the UArt paper. I just found that, although a very good paper, a little bit rougher, so I'm a person that likes to blend with my finger, so the tips of my fingers did ache a bit using that UArt paper. Have a look around. What you're looking for is a paper that is designed for pastels, and look for something around about a 300 GSM. You don't want to be going any much lower than that, because that means the paper's getting smoother, which means it hasn't got a lot of tooth, which means you won't get a lot of layers. And I've seen so many people get disheartened because they can't get those final layers into their drawings that they need for realism. And they give up because they think that it was their artistic ability when really it was their choice of paper. So make paper your priority. Next up is your pencils. Now there's so many brands out there. You've got Faber-Castell, Stabilo Carbothellos, Derwents, go on and on and on. All of these pencils, their colours are very, very similar. So have a look around, get what's affordable for you, what you can source in your area. The Faber-Castells are a good beginner's pencil because they are slightly harder, so they're easier to sharpen, and you can get a finer point on them. But I also love the Stabilo Carbothellos as well, because they've just got a softer, creamier texture to them, which gives you a lovely sort of look to your drawings. But you don't need a lot of pencils. You don't need to go out and buy every single brand of pencil. I ran my 4-week course for absolute beginners just using the 24 set of the Faber-Castell pits, and some of my students produced amazing artwork. So you don't need hundreds of pencils. You'll see there's pastel sticks, and again they've got all of those brands I mentioned. You've got Unisons as well, Schminke, Sennelier. There's so many out there, and again, don't need those to start with. They're lovely to have because they're great for backgrounds and doing underpaintings and things like that. So, but to start with, they're not a necessity. You also get pan pastels, and they're just little compressed tubs of pastel. And again, they're fantastic for your backgrounds and for underpaintings, etc. If you can, afford to treat yourself to some of those, then by all means. But like I said, for getting started, they're not a necessity. Now you also need just a couple of little things for blending. The number one blender is your clean finger. It's fantastic for blending pastels. But you can also use cotton buds or Q-tips. You can use little makeup applicators. You can actually buy They're called paper stumps, and they're little rolls of compressed paper, and they're fantastic for blending as well. But there's lots of different things you can use that you've probably got at home that you could use for blending. Another thing I always recommend people do get is an easel, and I just use a desktop easel, and you can source them really easily these days. And the reason for that is I find that if you're drawing flat on a surface, it does tend to put a lot of pressure on your back. So if you can get a hold of a desktop easel or an upright easel, whatever you prefer, that's definitely worth the investment, I think. Now, you're going to need a reference photo, unless you've got a really good memory. And there's a lot of free sites out there that photographers offer up their beautiful photographs for artists to use. So things like Pixabay and Splash, Pastels is another one, and also some free Facebook groups you can join, and the photographers there will offer up their photographs for you to use. So really that is it. So you've got paper, your pencils, something for blending, an easel, and your reference photo. And with just those things, you could get started creating some beautiful artwork. So don't let the overwhelm you. Get started, and even with as little as 10 minutes a day of drawing, you'll see an amazing improvement in your art. And it's great for the soul, it's great for mental health. It's wonderful just to be able to take some time out just for you, and unleash your creative side. All right, so thanks for that wee blether, and I'll see you next time.